What's up, YouTube family? T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight to talk to you about some more lake breakdowns. We're still on Toledo Bend. I'm going to switch things up tonight. I have been using my mobile phone to show you guys the waypoints, but I was actually breaking down Possum Kingdom, and in the process, I lost my waypoint to my phone. I accidentally got rid of them. So what I do is I use the web version of Navionics to go through and do the offshore hotspots for that lake, and it actually made it a lot more smoother for the video. So for the rest of Toledo Bend, I'm going to actually go ahead and do it that way. I'll show you guys what they look like on the Google Earth waypoints so you guys know what the waypoints will look like on your card, but I'm going to switch it over. We're going to do the different format. Let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go. Toledo Bend, number 3. Before we jump over to the Navionics side, I want to real quickly go over the Google Earth offshore hotspots for you so you can see what these are going to look like if you were to import them into your graph. So this is what they'll look like on the exports. You can see we have tons of these marks all built out. So you'll be able to basically go around the lake and find all these different hotspots. But instead of making you guys dizzy with the mobile app, I'm going to switch over. We're going to do this on Navionics. I think you guys are going to like it a lot better. Let's go. All right, so last time we were out on Toledo Bend, we actually stopped right here at El Camino Bay. So I don't want to lose my spot because this lake's really easy to lose your spot. You can see here where I'm about, maybe a quarter of the way, maybe almost halfway up the left-hand side. So we're going to start here at El Camino Bay. And the last spot we looked at was just right over here, right off this ridge that you can see right in this area. So right where that point is, right along where that ridge is, where those little breaks are, that's where we had marks. So as I move up here, a couple of things I want to point out to you guys here. One is this hump that's out here. So I'm going to go ahead and click it here so you can see it. And you'll notice that this hump has some pretty good breaks off the side of it, but it also comes up to 17 foot, coming up out of, say, 29 foot. So you know it's got a pretty good, probably like a hard top on, or at least a pretty good hump there. And then out here in the middle, you can see we've got multiple submerged culverts. We've got one there. We got another one that's right here. Got a couple more, one right there and one right here. So all those submerged culverts can be good as well. Good areas to look for fish. And then if you look a little bit further out, if you're not scared to get out deep, you can even come out here and look at these ridges. So you've got some really good breaks right in here around the creek channel. Right over in here, you've got a real good break from 29 to 50 feet. So you can really get out here and do some really deep water fishing out here in Toledo Bend. Now, as we move across the corner here, just one thing I wanted to show you that would be interesting to me that I'd probably go check out is right around this dock right in here. Notice you've got some pretty good breaks and you're coming off of a pretty decent little point that's out there as well. Pretty good flat. So as you move further up here, don't see too much going on in here that really grabs my attention other than just really this area right here along this bank line. Looks really good because you've got that nice creek bed that goes right across the side of it. So as we pull out here, let's go a little bit further out, see if we can find anything else. I think we talked about this, but this area right here off of this little hump that comes out, the hump's in about 13 foot of water, then it drops to about 35. It's also got a nice little creek bed that's out here as well. So that's always going to be a good area to look to. So really you could look all along this whole area where you see all these ridges way out here where they get really close together. You could probably find a school of fish somewhere along that line. Just because you've got such good breaks. But your places where you're probably going to find them more is going to be wherever these creek beds are. So anywhere these creek beds are at, that's where you're going to be more likely to find them. So anywhere up here in this area around these ridges right in here, this is going to be more of your prime location. Now, if you don't want to go out that deep, if you want to come in a little bit shallower, you could also look right in here. It looks like you got an old pond that's right here, and you've got a little bit of a break right off to the side of it as well. So you're going from 17 feet to about, that one's hard to tell how deep it is, 26 feet. So pretty good little break that's in there. Now, as we move further up here along this side, you can see where we start getting into some really juicy stuff. Obviously, you see all these fish marks. So those are all going to be good spots to go look at typically. But let's go ahead and break it down and look at it. And let's see if we agree. So first thing, yes, absolutely. Right in here, you've got a roadbed. You can see the roadbed right in here. And you've got a little hump out here as well. So this hump's in about 12 feet. put that little arrow there. The hump's in about 12 feet and it breaks down to about 20, 25 feet. So really good break. And then I really like this point that's right here. This point sets up really good, nice flat top. Really like it. So let's keep moving over here a little bit, see if we see anything else. So they did put a point right here, so that could be a possible brush pile. So that creek bed runs right there along the side. You can see where it creates a pretty good break there. So all along right here, these docks are really good deep docks. You can see where they've got really good break to them. You've got one here and one here, which is even better because they're isolated docks that are out there in some pretty deep water. So definitely go check those out. Those look like really good spots to look at. Let's keep moving on down, see what else we can find. So as we come down here and kind of look at that creek bed, I'm really looking for anywhere where I'm seeing major breaks, drop off, stuff like that, or where that creek bed looks like it may swing up against the bank line. So first spot I would say right in here is going to be right here off the tip of this point. The point's got a really good flat tip or flat top. You can see it's got a 12-foot right on the top, good little flat top, and it's got really good breaks off to the side of it. And it's fairly close to a creek bed as well. The creek bed's out here, your point's right here, and then your breaks right in that area. Now you could also come further out. If you really want to venture out, you could go over here at 19 foot, and then you can see the break right here, which is right along the creek bed. So right there would be a really good spot to look at as well. Now, as we move further back here, there's lots of good stuff back in here. I mean, you could really just follow, let's say if we stay on the creek bed on this side, you kind of follow it. Obviously, this point right in here would probably be a pretty good place to look at. And then this right here is definitely high percentage spot to look at for sure. You can tell it's a good creek channel swing. It comes up, hits the bank. Looks like there's a dock there as well. Isolated dock right on a creek channel swing. That's going to be a great area to look. As we move further down, just kind of looking for different things. You're going to want to look at all these breaks. So this break right in here is going to look good. This one over here looks good. You're just going to have to kind of figure out where they're located. What are they attracted to? And then from there, you should be able to pattern them. But as we move a little bit further back, again, another dock that's right on a creek channel swing. That one looks excellent. And then as you move further back, you're just looking for those different ridges. Again, you've got one here. You got another really tight creek channel swing that's back here, way back in the back. So just lots of different things. But you'll notice I put all those points on there for you. I've hit the most popular, I guess, the highest percentage areas that look like on the contour map. So you're going to have plenty of points to go out and look. As you come down here, just follow the creek bed. Anywhere it touches the bank, those are going to be your high percentage areas. Where those lines get a little bit tighter, that's when you're going to see your drops, your ledges, and things like that. So don't see anything too crazy back in here. But when we get up here around this point, right in here, I really like this. So you've got a creek bed that comes over here. It kind of moves over. Plus, you've got a little creek intersection going on right there. Then you've got this nice point that comes out, actually all the way to an island. It's got a little island on the top of it, but only 6 feet on top. Really like it. Good feeding table. Good area to look right in there. Got these people look like they marked a couple docks there, so you could have potential brush piles there as well. Off the side of this island's got some pretty good break. Looks like the steepest break's going to be on this side of it. But it does have a fish marker on the front right there. But if I was going to fish it, I would say I would probably fish this side first and just see what I can find. And then, of course, I'm not saying there's not any fish on this side. There could be a brush pile there or something, but I would fish the steeper side first. All right, so as we pull out of there, we're going to keep looking, just see what we can find. Pretty decent little flat point that comes out 15 foot off to a creek bed, so maybe some potential right here in this area. But, again, compared to the other things we see, that's probably not going to be as, as popular. Now, out here, like this spot right here, if you look really closely, there's a really nice point that comes out here. And it's only 7 foot on the top, so it really looks good. It's got a nice break. It's not close to a creek channel or anything like that, like some of those other ones, but it still sets up very nicely. So I really like this area right in here. As we move further up, again, lots of good breaks. Way out here is your big river. As we move further up the bank line here, you want to take a look at these points, especially like right in here. This point's going to be great. Got nice, good drop off the side of it. Plus, it has the creek bed that's out here. So you definitely would want to focus in on that point. Looking around, see if I see anything else in that area. I don't see anything, so let's zoom back out. Now we're getting back up here to where the creek channel is actually bending. So let's go ahead and look, see what we can find here, and we'll go up the other arm, see what we can find in there. So obviously you're probably gonna have some bluff walls all along in here. There's gonna be your really steep bluff walls. One area you might want to look at is right in here off the edge of this island, because you do have the big river swing that comes down here. And what could do is that could force a little bit of current to come through here, and those bass could stage up and set up right in here. So definitely look right there off that side. Again, another good looking dock, pretty steep. And then we move up here. The next good spot is going to be right here. If we're looking at this river swing that goes right in here, this spot right here on the corner is going to be a really good spot to look at right in there. Again, you're going to get some pretty steep walls all through here. Some pretty decent breaks in here. I'm not sure what that icon is there. I've never seen that before. But again, if you look, we've got a creek swing, creek channel swing, going right up against the dock. So you know that dock's going to be a good dock for sure. You probably even want to check this dock as well. This dock's got a fish marker on it too. And then you definitely want to go right in here and check this out and see what kind of ledge, kind of ridge, whatever it is, maybe not a ridge, but what kind of ledge or a drop off that you can get right there in that area, because that looks like a really good prime spot. So as we move down, kind of looking for the next thing I'd probably point out would just be right in here. There's a pretty decent little ledge right in there. You'll see it. If I zoom back out, you can see it. It's right there. So you can take a look at that. Moving on up here, again, you're just looking at these creek beds. And you could go up and you could do some major scanning. You could come up here and check out these. These have a little bit of flat top to them with a pretty sharp ridge on it. You can go back in here. This is a pretty good little pinch point right in that area. As you move out here to the island and come out here and you see this creek bed or river arm, whatever it is, swinging down, your prime spots are going to be right here, right where that ledge is. And then also right over in here. So they'll come up here and feed, and then they'll drop off here to the side. So you want to check out anywhere right on that island, right in that area. That's going to be a good spot for you to take a look at. So I'm going to move on up. Before I go back in here to the to that bay, I want to look out here off this side and see what we can find out here, because you may feel like you're way out in the middle of the water, but you're only in 15 foot, and you've got some really good ridges going on right here in this area. So notice you're going from 15 feet to 50 feet pretty fast. So that area right in there looks good. You can even come back in here where it says 16 feet right here. And then you have a major drop right beside it, coming down here to 40 something feet, 40, 50 feet. All those look pretty good. So you want to just look at those key areas. Now, if we look up in here, we've got good ridges, kind of almost a bluff wall going on right in here. But if we zoom in where this fish is at, you can see why that would be a good spot. It's got a good creek channel bend right there. It's coming up against a little, I guess, underwater point that goes way out there, or a hump. I don't know what this is. I haven't zoomed back out far enough, but definitely a creek channel swing or a bend right there, right up against the land. You know that's going to be a good spot right there. I really like how that sets up, and it's nice and out deep in the middle of the water. So maybe not deep, but just out in the middle of the water, definitely off the bank line. All right, so as we move on up, we're looking for other hotspots kind of like that. So if you think about it, right in here looks good too. You got a real good flat top, 4 to 6 feet, comes out 6 feet right in here, right off the edge. And then it makes this big drop right in here, right on the creek channel swing or the creek channel bend. So you'll want to look at those for sure. As we move further down here, as we get back into this thing, let's see what we can find. We've got a long ways to go back in there, don't we? So let's move on back and let's just see what we can find over here off the edge of the island right here. Pretty good drops. As we move further up, a lot of this stuff looks good. Again, can't mark it all for you though, guys, because I would probably wear you out and wear myself out as well. But look at these creek beds and find those sharp breaks and fish those, scan those. Right there is money. You can tell it's just very, very sharp. Something's going on right in that area, 24 feet to about 40 something feet. So right there is good. Also right here, right where it kind of makes this big, you got kind of this big, large flat where they're going to come up here and feed right around this big creek channel swing. So right in here, off the edges, these two edges right here and right here. Let me see if I can pull that up. And right there, those two are going to be great spots. Also, even over here could be a good spot. There's just so many spots to scan. I think that's what would make this lake so hard, is because you've got so much to look at. You're kind of gonna kind of have to zone in on one area and just really focus in on that area, because this lake really is that big. Now, as we move further down, I do like this little hump that's out here. You can see it right here at 7 foot. The only problem with that hump is it doesn't have any creek beds or anything too close by. The creek bed's further over here on this side. As I move further over here, like this point too, it's fairly close to the creek bed. Also has another little point that comes off of it, or a little flat table, so you could come out here and get a little bit deeper and probably get closer to that creek bed and find those fish. So you definitely want to look in those two areas right there. As we move further down, kind of going down by this island, again, all this island looks good. This could be good here on the corner of it, but you might want to come out here and look around this bridge. This bridge is right there in the middle of the creek bed. And then if you move just a little bit further up, you're on top of this big flat hump that's out here in the middle of the water. So this area right in here, I can see this area right in here being a good area. And then of course, you want to follow that creek bed down, just see if it touches anywhere else. Wherever it does, you're going to look at. So right there on the corner there looks good. Also right in here looks good. So you can see there's just several different spots. So I'm getting down in here to Hines Creek. Still can't get over how big this lake is. Can't wait to go there someday. But as we're going down, kind of looking at this creek bed, again, guys, remember, just looking where it's touching that bank line. That's where you're going to want to be looking at. But from an offshore spot, right here catches my attention because it's just a little bit different than everything else, and it has that little flat top to it. It's got the nice break that goes off to the creek bed. So I would definitely look right in here and see what you can find. See if you find anything else hanging out just around in that area. So moving further down here, see what we can find. Nothing too crazy down there. Now the edge of this island right here, this looks good. Got a nice good creek bed coming through there. Good drop off right there on the edge of the island. That would be a good spot to look. Again, right in here is going to be a good spot as well. And I've marked a lot of these spots for you guys, so you won't have to spend too much time looking at the map. You'll just be able to go right to them and know that those are going to be your high percentage spots. Also, this little point here looks like it could have some potential as well. And now I'm going to zoom back up here just so I don't get too messed up. I zoomed up too far. As I get further up here, coming up this Hines Creek, the next spot, I'm liking a lot of the things right in this area. This whole area right here just looks good. One, because you have this roadbed that comes right here, and you can see the roadbed just kind of works its way up on top of this little flat area that comes out. But on top of that, you've got these other points. So right here, the top of this point is only 3 foot. But then if you go just a few feet away, you're in 23, 24, 25 foot. So right here, this little ridge right here where you see it comes off and makes a nice little drop. Right in there would be a good spot. All these around these islands, around these islands are going to be good. And then up here, this island actually has a roadbed that goes on top of it. You can see it right here. There's the roadbed. So you'd want to go out there and look at that. Just so much good stuff in here. This is a tough one. So then moving over here, we cut out to this next island. It's got some pretty good break off to the left-hand side of it too. And then just off of that island, you've also got a pretty decent little hump out here in 9 foot that you can go check out. When you get down here, you've also got another pretty good flat point right here by this marina. I don't know what marina that is, or if it'll tell me on Navionics, but a pretty decent little flat that comes out that has some pretty good little drop right in there. This point looks good to you. I'm telling you, this whole lake just looks juicy. You got a really good bridge going across. Of course, you've heard me talk about bridges. Bridges are awesome, underwater or above water. I'm fishing them for sure. And then as we get over here by this bridge, this side just has a straight drop off, but this one's got a little bit of action to it. It's got a little bit of a flat over here on the side of it, and then it kind of gets sharp right here at the edge. So I'd say looking right in here, it's probably gonna be your more primo spot for this bridge. This little dock, for whatever reason, is catching my eye. So I'm going to point it out to you guys. With this dock down here, see with the nice, good break right by it. I like that dock. And then, of course, right here, this area right here off this point is going to be a really good spot to look at. You can see it makes really good sharp breaks right there. The creek channel comes right up against the point. Those are just really good spots to find and locate the fish. Moving kind of around, looking at that creek bed, your next thing to look at would be right here. You got a little bit of a flat top, almost like a hump that comes up to 14 feet. Everything else is about 17 to 19 feet. And then you got a real good break right there on the creek channel bend. So that looks good for sure. Moving down, good stuff again right off this point. And then getting a little bit further down, you've got a submerged bridge that's right here. So that submerged bridge is right in that area. I've got that one marked for you guys as well. So you'll see that. And that's right there off of a good, nice little hump that's out here that's got some really good breaks to it. So really like this area right here. Really, really like that. Then again, as you're moving down, just pay attention to the creek channels, and wherever they touch the land, you want to fish in those areas. Or wherever they make a big turn, you don't want to fish the land, you want to get offshore, fish around the big turns, and you'll have a lot more success that way. Move it up here, go up here, check this out right here. Real shallow, flat top to something really deep right in here. It's kind of stuck between this island and here. So maybe go up here and scan this if you're just bored. I mean, it's not really a high spot, but it could be a spot to look at. It could be one of those hidden spots for sure. Moving up here, we already talked about a lot of this. We went around the bridge, so it won't spend too much time up there. You've got an old pond dam right here. You can see, we probably marked that with Google Earth, but you can see a real good pond dam right in here. Let me show it to you real quick. Click it for you. Those pond dams in some of these lakes in Texas are really the deal. So you definitely want to go up and check this pond dam out. It looks really defined. Really like the way that one looks. Let's move on up. We're going to go up just a little bit further, and then we're going to cut this video off for the night. So let's see where we want to stop. Let's go ahead and stop once we get back out of this pocket. So let's go ahead and just finish this channel. I guess not pocket, but finish this channel, see what we can find, and then we'll end the video there. So again, look at these saddles. You guys have heard me talk about saddles before, but right in here, right off the tip of this island, you got a really good break, but the saddle looks pretty good too. It's got some pretty good break right in it, and it's also got a road bed down there. And then if you're there off the edge of the island, you've got this bridge too. I think we talked about that earlier, but you definitely want to go look at those. Moving on up, that hump that we talked about. You get up here by Alpine. This is Alpine Resort and Marina. Main areas I would look at in here, well, obviously, these points. You want to look at these points. And I really like this point too. This point, for whatever reason, with the really sharp break off the side of it and the rest of it's tapering, I like the way that point looks. I also like the fact that the creek bed's not too far away from it. Again, you've got that area where that creek bed comes out and hits in here. You got some backwater stuff that could be up in here. So maybe if the water's muddy or something, you could come up in here and see if you can get it into the clear pockets, see if maybe you could find something in there that just looks like really good flats to go fish. And then as we move further down, we're kind of getting out here closer towards the main lake. Let's go ahead and stop right here at the Spring Hill 13. We'll stop right there because that looks like a good place for me to remember. We already talked about this big flat, this big point that comes out here. So that'll be a great place for us to stop right there on that fish attractor. So that covers us for Toledo Bend number 3. We're going to keep trucking through this thing until we finish it. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Do you guys like it better when I break these things down on my phone, or did you like it better there using Navionics web app to where the screen was maybe a little bit clearer and it didn't move around as much? But maybe you liked it the other way as well when I actually have the fishing points on there. So anyways, give me some feedback. Go out, check out our site, simplisticfishing.com. And until next time, hope you catch a PB. Take care.